Good morning, everybody. Wee Paddy from across the Shuck. You're very welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about UK friendly, or UK legal is probably the better term, micarta handled knives. And these are four of my favourite. It's the only four I've got, by the way, but they're four of my favourite. They're four knives that I really like in the modern tradition. So these are slip joints. All slip joints, and I'm going to tell you where I got them, what I think about them. Can you compare them to each other? Which you got, they're all slip joints, but I'm going to talk in price wise, and which one for me would be the best option if you're going to go out and buy a knife now that's UK legal. And this might be controversial, so just hang in there. Give me a couple of minutes. Not going to be a long one, this. So I'm going to start first of all with this one, which is a very familiar looking shape. This is a Civivi Elementum, but this is a slip joint version, as in there's no lock. And this one is UK friendly. And we're going to just discuss this probably a bit later at the end, towards the end of this. So the cutting edge is, there you go, 2 3/4. What am I saying? 2 3/4. It's not. It's about 2 5/8 cutting edge, which is UK legal. If you want to take it to the hilt, it is just under the 3 inches. So there you go. That's both camps covered. To me, it's a cutting edge, and as far as I'm aware, and I'm prepared to be proved wrong, but in the law, it says the cutting edge of the blade has to be under 3 inches. And I'm sticking to that until I find different or I read different. I know it's been planned for years that it's supposed to go up the full length of the blade. As far as I'm aware, it has not been changed yet. This one is lovely micarta, by the way. Civivi do a nice micarta on it. Not ultra grippy, but grippy enough for anything. Great in the wet micarta. Just a lovely handle. This one has a pocket clip on it, which, give or leave, it doesn't really matter to me. When I've got it, I probably will use it if I'm going out. So, yeah, but it's not something I look for. Here's another one that's got a pocket clip on it, nice pocket clip. This is an Atlas from Twisted Assisted. Now you can see the Twisted Assisted logo there. Not very clear, but this is, there we go. Twisted Assisted logo. Lovely blade shape, and here's the difference now. This is a flat grind and this is a hollow grind. Now, out of the two, you can see the difference there in that blade shape. I mean, this one again is going to be well below the 3 inches. The cutting edge on this is 2.5 inches, and the full, let's take it right up to the hilt, it is 2 3/4, just over 2 3/4. So, well within the limit. Beautiful flat grind, whereas this had a hollow grind. And I'm going to, these are the two medium priced, low to medium, whichever your budget, I would call this in my budget range. They're in the 50s. They're both 50 odd pound each. I think this one's about maybe 59, this one's 55 or something like that. But two nice knives, two beautiful knives. The slimmer handle here, although the handle is a little bit longer. So it doesn't look it there, does it? But it actually is, the way that you can see it there more. It's just the way I'm holding it. But this one's a little bit longer. Lovely. I can get 4 fingers on this. Very nice grip. On this, on the Elementum, I can, when I'm holding back here, I'm a 3.5 at best. 3.5 at best. You can sneak up on both of them. Sneak up on this one. And to be honest with you, I like sneaking, although this one seems to be wider and more comfortable looking, but in reality, this one I find more comfortable to sneak up on, which is, so you wouldn't put it, it's less of a thing, but it actually fits in. And the fact is, up here, you've got the separation here, the little bit that juts out up here, is whereas this is straight onto blade. This one isn't. It gives you that little separation between the ricasso and the edge of the knife, which I like. I feel more secure in that one. which one would I pick? Honestly, this is going to go down to the flat blade or the hollow grind. This for cutting, I like better with a hollow grind, but this is a nice slicer as well. They're both not very thick behind the edge. There you go. They're both about the same that way. Both nicely finished, very well finished knives. Just super value for money. I think they're amazing value for money. And if you like a traditional knife that's UK legal, or not a traditional knife, a slip joint knife. Keep saying that and slipping up. So them two are, honestly, they're a toss of the coin for me. Either one of them, whichever one you like the look of, I think is the better one for you. But they're both incredibly good. They don't have a very hard lockup, but you don't need it. And these are small pocket knives, much like a traditional. They're for EDC tasks. They're not for really hard working tasks. I don't think so anyway. That's my opinion. And I'm going to take a step up now. We'll have these two, and then I'm going to take a step up to these two. Now, this one's £100. This one's about 130, I think, this is the Buck Saunter. Now, if you've been on my channel, you know I love this little knife. This to me is the perfect little EDC knife. When I'm just doing EDC, can you hear the difference in that when it opens up? It is much firmer than the other two. Beautiful little knife, lovely clip point. This is in 154 cm and that lovely handle. This is, I can get 4 fingers on this. It is a much smaller handle, and especially if you take it to this next one, you can see the difference in the handles. This one is a much bigger handle. Much bigger handle. But this gets 4 fingers on it. Now, I'm using the full extent of it. Right up to the nub and there. And you can see my 4th finger is just wrapping around that. So, but again, good grip. I think this is a super little knife to drop in your pocket. No pocket clip on this. Beautifully centered. They're all beautifully centered. They all come lovely. I like the snap that's in this one over the first two, but I'm paying twice the price. And I'm getting 154 cm steel in this, which is a lovely steel, but to me it's no better than 14C28. And I know on this Civivi, and this sort of matters, that the Rockwell hardness on the Civivi is 58 to 60, which is really good. I'm not sure what it is on the Twisted Assisted, but 58 to 60 is really, really good. I don't know what it is on this 154C. I'm not sure what the Rockwell hardness is on it because it doesn't give you in the descriptions. But I love this as a small pocket knife. I just think this is a great pocket dropper. Really lovely. I mean, this is small enough it could even go in my 5th pocket, and this will be sticking out the top. So really, really nice knife. But at £130, that is pushing the price limit for such a small little knife right up there. But again, Chinese made. This is made by a US company. So it's a USA made knife. And, to me, it is worth that extra money for this wee knife, just solely because I really love it. Now, I paid for these two. I think this was a gift, and this was from Who Knives, which is where you can buy this knife. And again, it's in the 50s. Who Knives sells this on their website. So you can check out Who Knives and Twisted Assisted. Check them out, their website. This one I bought off Heinz. This is the Buck Saunter. Lovely knife. Really, I have carried this so much. You can see the wear in the handle. It just gets carried. It's lovely. The micarta is lovely in this. Again, not the rough micarta, but not a linen micarta. It is a proper micarta handle. I just love it. And then its competition, which is about £30 cheaper, is this. And this is just my newest one. And to be honest with you, this one blew me away and is still blowing me away. Right up the centre. Great pull. Great lock up. Half stop. Slap down the middle. Look at that. Right down the middle. This is an absolute sleeper. This has been out quite a while, but it's making a rejuvenation again. It's making a resurgence again because Heine have got them back in again. I think they'd been out of stock for quite a while. Look at that clip point. That's just, I mean, of all the clip points there is only the two, by the way. But this just is, this would remind me of a buck clip. It really is. You can see the movement in the knife, that sort of nearly upswept, but just right on that limit. It's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Now, it's a flat grind, but let me tell you, look at the handle on that. If you've got a large hand, this sits absolutely perfect. I have so much room. You know, it's right in there, full hand on it, and I'm not having to touch or a castle or anything. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning knife to hold and to use. Not particularly thick, very thin blade stock. And let's take you down to the wee Saunter. Do you see the difference in the thickness? There you go. There's no difference in the thickness at all. You know, if anything, I would say this one's maybe a little bit thinner, but there's a difference in the blade length. So for me, this is an EDC. For this one, with that difference in blade size, look at the difference in blade size. Let's get that up there. There we go. I'll line the cutting edges up. That is a substantially bigger knife. And this is one I would take out into the woods, or if I'm going camping. I think this is a great camp knife, great slicer. This EDC, this camping, forest, or EDC, whichever one you want. Just beautiful. So, did I measure this one? I'll measure the wee buck Saunter, actually. It's the smallest of the whole lot. So, right up to the hilt, it is under 2.5 inches exactly, sorry. And then if you take it down to the cutting edge, you're down to about 2 3/8. There you go. So it's the smallest blade of the lot, the smallest cutting edge of the lot. But again, there's that little difference in them that the size doesn't really matter with this. Whereas this is the controversial one. Now on Heine, when they're selling something, they put, is it UK friendly? They don't put this down as UK friendly. Again, not too sure why. I think I know why, because when you put the full measurement of this, which is to the hilt, it is over the 3 inches. There's your 3 inches. It's over the 3 inches. But when you put the cutting edge down, which is there, it's just under 3 inches. But to me, that's UK legal. And I can understand them being sort of wary. I suppose it's future-proofing it. You know, if it does change, that's it. But again, as far as I'm aware of the law, and this is just me, I'm not a lawyer. You don't listen to my opinion on law. That's one thing I'm not going to take any credit for. That's my own thoughts. But for me, this is UK legal to carry, and I do carry it. And I absolutely love it. Now, this is not a knife I'm going to pull out anywhere because it looks bigger and maybe more aggressive than any of the other three here. It looks like a bigger, more aggressive knife, and I don't want to draw attention to knives. But that doesn't mean that I still believe it's UK legal. And this has got LMAX steel on it. So these three are basically roughly the same steel, 14C28 and 154CM. Very similar steels, easy to sharpen, take a wicked edge. This is LMAX. That's a big jump up to this powdered metal, and it's going to be cheaper than the buck Saunter. Although for me, nearly too aggressive to be an EDC knife to pull out in a shop or a restaurant. I think you could scare people. Not saying that that's something that I should be worried about, but it is, because I don't want to upset people. I don't want to bring a bad impression on the knife world. That's just pointless. That's defeating every object that we have as knife collectors and lovers. We know it's wrong, but there's no point putting it in somebody's face and scaring somebody. You know, that's just not the point. That is irresponsible as a knife owner, in my opinion. Very irresponsible. That's why I usually every day I carry just a little slip joint pocket knife with a cutting edge of 2 to 2.5 inches. Plenty for me. But this one, if I'm going for a walk to the forest, this will go in my pocket. I'll also have my, a slip joint in there, a traditional slip joint. But this I just think is a super knife. I absolutely love it. And even around the house, I love it because it copes with all the jobs. If I'm going to do a large cardboard cutting task, this goes straight down to the room. It's got that lovely sort of blade on it that doesn't show. It's bead blasted, but not bead, well, I suppose tumbled or bead blasted. It's got that, you can see where it starts to wear it off down on the edges when you're using it. But it really does hide scratches. There's a bit of a deep scratch there, but it does hide it really well. And I just, honestly, for £100 with the LMAX steel, for me, there's not a better out there as far as value for money. As far as value for money, I don't think there's anything better. But there's not a bad knife on this table here. There's not a bad knife. And it really, like everything else, our eye hits something. The trouble is, being a YouTuber and having a channel, I like to have a variation of knives so that people can see the different variants out there, the different price ranges that's out there. But they're all micarta. They've all got a great steel. But this, just to me, for £99, is fantastic value. And this is if you're going to keep in that tradition. Now, this is an Italian made, this is American made, and then 2 Chinese made ones. But honestly, yes, these are much cheaper. And if that's all you want, if that design is all you want, and definitely, I would say, definitely go for these. But if you want to invest a little bit more, I still believe this is £130. I think it's too dear. But it didn't stop me paying the full price for it, because I just liked it. I liked the look of it. Again, £100, I don't think that's too dear. And this is the sort of the quandary you get yourself in. But I mean, an EDC, take your pick. But this one for me, way above, because it gives me that EDC ability, but it also gives me a knife that I can take out to the woods. And, you know, a campfire or something like that, that would be more beneficial around a campfire than maybe some of the smaller ones. And I'm going to take that out and prove the fact out at the stump. We'll take it out, do a bit of whittling, do a bit of just camp woodwork, slicing. I mean, I know I took it in the kitchen. I've sliced meat with it. It's lovely. Again, thin blade stock. So really, really lovely knife. And it's got the Italian flair. This is from Mercury, which is a company that's in Maniago. And it joins in with the other companies around there to help each other, which I think is quite lovely. So there you go. Micarta handled knives, but with a wee bit of a... it really is your decision whether you should buy this as a UK legal slip joint. The other 3 are completely UK legal, no matter what way you look at it. But as legality goes, I believe that's legal and I'll carry it. So there we go. Take care. Have a nice day. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea.